This episode of The Chopping Block will feature footage from Big Boo's Revenge. To find out more, check the link in the description.
What is up, everyone? This is Axe.
And this is Fiz.
And welcome to The Chopping Block. Man, it's hard to believe that it is already 2016.
Where did time go, man?
Dude, it flies. I'm telling you. It seems like 2015 lasted all of like 3 months.
3 months, something. It just felt like it just started.
Yeah, man. It just, time flies, and it was a great year for gaming, especially, man. We had like a lot of cool titles in 2015. And I think that, like, no matter what kind of games that you're a fan of, whether you're into RPGs, whether you like action, adventure, shooters, open world, anything, like 2015 definitely had something for everybody.
Right, and like we kind of like went through that spell like the first year. You know, we were like, gosh, man, when are the games coming? Then 2015 hit. It's like, bam, here you go.
Yeah, man.
Feast on it.
Everything, man. You had The Witcher 3, which was, you know, it got critical acclaim, man, because like you had a lot of people who were fans of the Witcher series. A lot of people said that The Witcher 2 was good, but it didn't necessarily deliver in the ways they were hoping for. But like The Witcher 3, by and large, was well received by a lot of people in the gaming community.
Exactly. Even like new people that wanted to start the series. It is a great place.
Yeah.
You know, good game to pick up on. I mean, indulge yourself.
Definitely.
It's a great game.
And of course, we got to talk about Fallout 4. I mean, it's one of those games where you can, you know, some games you purchase and it's like you get like 5 or 6 hours of content. With Fallout 4, it's like there's so much to do, so many ways to play the game, man. Like, even though a lot of people were saying that, you know, it was missing certain elements from other Fallout games, like, you know, it's still a great game. Like, one guy, he basically put it, he's like, it's not necessarily the best Fallout game, but as a game in general, it's, you know,
fantastic.
It's fantastic. And of course, we got to talk about, even in light of the whole Kojima controversy, Metal Gear Solid 5. You know, man, it had a lot of elements from, you know, previous games in the series. A lot of cool stuff going on there, and it's like we were talking about The Witcher. You know, even if it's some people their first game in the series. You know, they may not get the full impact of the story until they look into you know, the past games and whatnot. But like the gameplay was outstanding.
Right, and what do you think about him signing with Sony? Like,
dude, that's huge, man.
That's huge because I think, you know, as many years as this man has put in to Konami and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that. I mean, that was a horrible send off.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Because he made that company, in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah.
You know, he did. A great mind and stuff, but now he's with Sony. He's working on a new IP, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's rumors speculating, but he's not done.
Yeah.
So.
And that's another good thing about the gaming community is the gaming community has a very good sense of loyalty. Right. Because, you know, even though the game did sell very well, it's like the fan base still hasn't forgotten, you know, who is the man behind the series. You know, who is the mastermind? Because he's already he's already got a ton of fan support. And both, you know, people who are saying, you know, we're gonna buy what you put out. You know, we're looking forward to it. Everybody's talking about it, so I can't wait to see what he comes out with, man.
Me
and like another game that was a great way to end a great series was Batman Arkham Knight, man.
Dude, what a way to go out! And you know, Rocksteady, they always did a wonderful job.
Oh yeah,
you know
that story, man. that super gripping story, man. I loved it. It's like. And, you know, with the introduction of the Batmobile and all the different elements they put in and whatnot, I thought it was great. And it's really cool, too, to see a campaign that's that emotional, that is that involved, you know, with the whole deal of before the game even came out, you had, like, all this speculation, all this hype about who is the Arkham Knight. And I really think they gave the series a really good nod to Batman, the actual character, you know, his convictions, his morals, the reason, you know, he carries himself the way he does, makes the decisions that he's made. And, you know, a lot of people have been critical of the character because, you know, he does refuse to take somebody's life. And that was what, you know, one of the big themes of the game was the Arkham Knight telling him, you know, if you would just kill the Joker when you had the chance and all this stuff. And, you know, the climactic battle, man, was, you know, we all knew the Joker was going to be in. People were kind of saying at the start, they're like, okay, you know, the Joker has been in every game. we know he's going to be in the fourth game. We just knew it was going to happen. But I think it was good that they made it the way they did, where he was kind of just like this apparition who was basically messing with Batman today, because that's really what he always was. Right. Even when he was alive, you know, it was one of those things where he was always just kind of in the back of Batman's mind. And of course, man, Bloodborne. Dude.
Yeah. You know, if people remember me talk about Dark Souls and stuff, how upsetting that game was to me. Well, well, you know, Bloodborne, no difference. But I will say that, hey, that is a beautiful game, by the way.
Oh yeah,
beautiful. And if you want a game that presents a challenge, you can't go wrong, man. It's just, but Bloodborne, it provided that, and I enjoyed it, even though I did not sling the game out the window because I couldn't, because then I would eventually sling out my PS4, and I don't want to do that because I bought it digitally.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? Piss on it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to beat it, and I loved it. You know.
Yeah, dude. It was a great game, and I think in a lot of ways, like, it really added a lot of things to the series, and I call it the series because, you know, it's in that same vein as Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 and 2,
right? With
a lot of the combat mechanics, but with the introduction of things like, you know, the gun and using the gun for the parrying mechanic instead of the shield and everything, it was just really cool. And the story was, you know, was very interesting too, with, you know, the hunters and, you know, especially the ending, or the true ending, you know, when it's, and I don't know, like, just that the whole thing with the battle with Gurman. It took me back to kind of like the battle with Lord Gwyn, who, you know, when you fight Gwyn, it's like you go in and, like, you are in his domain. It's like, this is the Lord of Cinder and Ashes Realm. You go into Gurman, it's like all those flowers that have bloomed there, and, you know, he's gonna either cut you out of the dream, or you're gonna take his place, or you're going to become a squid because From Software. That's why. But regardless, man, it was a really great game, and it was like a really great year for 2015. And then, you know, this year we have a lot of great games coming too. Dark Souls 3 is one that's it's going to be coming up, and, like, we've already seen a little bit of gameplay from it, and I like it a lot because it seems to me like they're going back to Dark Souls 1 mechanics in terms of parries and backstabs.
Right.
And I like that a lot better. Like, Dark Souls 2 was great. I love the art style. I love the improved, like, weapons crafting, and, you know, it's a lot easier and whatnot. But I really think that tight, crisp, reliable combat system is coming back in a big way. And plus, it seems like it has the speed that Bloodborne had.
Right.
Which is great, man. I personally can't wait for it.
And then you have Uncharted 4,
A
Thief's End.
Dude.
You know, Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
You know, it just keeps on getting better and better. But now this is, like, you know, this is telling the story, like, I guess it's after 3.
Yeah.
And just, like, how his life is now.
Yeah.
And then how he's drugged back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm interested to see how that story plays out.
Yeah.
You know, it's be good. And then also you have Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yep.
It's about freaking time because that game got delayed like 3 times already, and hopefully they stick to it. But man, if you want a MMORPG, you know, with Tom Clancy on the cover, you know it's about ready to be great.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. You know, you have a big fan following behind that game, and I think it's gonna be one of those games that's, you know, well worth the wait, because it's been one of those things where, like you said, you know, we've been waiting for a long time. Fans, you know, fans of this, like, franchise and similar types of games, you know, I think they're going to really enjoy it. Because, man, 2016 is shaping up to be, you know, it's just a great time to be a gamer all around.
Right, and that's just a few. There's tons more. I think there's like 30 plus like games that are coming out this year.
Yeah.
So we don't have enough time to name them all, but that's the top 3 that stuck out in our minds.
For real. And you can't really mention the games without mentioning, you know, the newer systems, not just the new gen, but, like, you know, things like, you know, the Steam box made a big impact. And of course, you know, there's talks about the Sega Dreamcast 2, you know, Project Dream, man.
Project Dream.
Dude.
Like revamping. Now, if anybody remembers the Dreamcast. Okay, it was back when Xbox, PS2. But the only thing is, Dreamcast was ahead of the game a little bit, because you want to know why? First console to ever introduce players to connecting to the internet.
Yeah, which was huge, and I think it was unfortunate for Sega that they introduced us at a time when, you know, the internet was really in its infancy.
Right.
Connectivity wasn't really a household thing yet. So I think if the timing had been a little bit different, the Dreamcast would have been huge. But that makes Project Dream, all the more exciting because it's like,
right.
all of these, these games they had and these ideas they had now are being revamped, and it's like,
and we're anxious to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
What the specs are going to be because we do have the PS4, we have the Xbox One, and they're going to have to compete. So I'm interested to see what's going to be inside the box. The Dreamcast.
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely a great time to be a gamer, and we love talking about gaming news and everything, and of course, when it comes to uploading gaming news to the channel and everything, we have our own inspirations, and just a quick shout out, SSOHPKC made a return video. Great to see him back.
About freaking time.
For real, we've missed you, man. We missed you, and it was great to see him back. And we even said it all along. We're like, we knew he wouldn't leave us unless something was up.
Right.
And he gave us a little background on what was going on. For those of you who don't know, SSOHPKC, he's been around on YouTube for quite a while, man. He's one of the original.
8 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around for a while.
Yeah. He was one of the original guys who first got big. One of the things he got big for was doing the Mario hacks. Guys like him,
Right.
and Proton John and a lot of others. And it was good to see him back. And he talked about he left the creatures, which I like. I like a lot of the creatures, but
Right.
I respect him, for doing what he feels is right for himself. And like he said, when he started out his YouTube channel, he kind of used it as that way to relax after doing his college classes and working at Target and everything, and he kind of said he wants his YouTube channel to go back to that, where he uses it as a
Right.
way to relax and unwind from the stuff he's got going on now. So definitely looking forward to that, man.
Great
so
stuff.
glad he's back on YouTube, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys, so now we're going to move on to a segment that we call The Cutting Edge. And this is where we reach out to members of the YouTube gaming community who we are fans of and we think that you might be fans of as well. And if you've watched any of my content in the past, you might know this guy that we're about to talk to. Good friend of mine, person who I've done some co-op with and some co-commentaries in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending, undisputed Zombies Ate My Neighbors champion of the world, Sky Hurricane89. What's up, brother?
Oh, man, I don't know if I deserve that lofty of an introduction, but I'll take it. Thank you. Howdy, y'all. I'm happy to be here. It's
Good
exciting.
to have you on, man. For you guys who aren't familiar with Sky, I'll basically give you the story about how I first found Sky's channel. I was doing a playthrough of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. If you guys have never checked out that game, it's a classic. Was for the Super NES. I think it came out for the Genesis as well, didn't it?
It did. It sure did. Yeah, it's a very underrated game. It's an awesome game, very underrated. But it does have a big cult following,
Oh yeah, it's an amazing game. And I was playing through it, and I got to that one level, and I couldn't find that one key. It's under the pod plant.
Level 39. Yep. Destroy all vampires.
Yep. And I was looking around for it, and I was like, man, I can't find this. I'm just gonna look up a guide. And I was kind of getting back to the game after a little bit of a hiatus, so I wasn't really familiar with it, and I was kind of struggling a little bit. So I'm running low on first aid kits, and I look up walkthroughs and stuff. And Sky, I find your video, and you're showing where the key is and everything, and you're giving background about the game. I'm like, wow, man, this guy is really good at the game. And I look up, and I think you had like over 30-some first aid kits, and you're like, man, this is pretty cool. I'm going to see if I can get to 50 by the time the game. Like, wow. Wow. It's crazy. But, man, you do a lot of cool gameplay and stuff on your channel. Tell us a little bit about the current and past projects that you have going on and that you have done.
Oh, Lord. Well, I know I've had over 50 projects. I mean, different kind. 2D side scrollers, if I can talk, platformers. I do a little bit of everything, racing. And I take suggestions on my channel too. I've had a lot of different games that people have suggested to me, and I've tried out a lot of different things that I had never played before. I do a lot of blind LPs, and I do some games like Axe here said. I do some games where I really know a lot about it inside and out. But it seems like I do more blind LPs than anything though nowadays.
Right.
Like I've done almost the entire Sly series. I've just started the Ratchet series. I am on Jack 2 now, so I'm doing stuff like that. Pretty much.
Nice. So you got a good mix over there of like guided walkthroughs of games you're familiar with and blind playthroughs, which I think is a good mix because with guided walkthroughs and everything, it's very informative and whatnot. And with blind playthroughs, those are some that like I don't think a lot of people really realize how great a blind playthrough is, especially like you said, taking feedback and encouraging fans of the game and supporters of the game to comment and everything. Just a good experience. Really goes back to what gaming is all about, which is just chilling with friends and talking about the game and discovering the game. So that's definitely pretty cool, man. And you not only play games, but you've actually made a hack in the past, correct?
Yes, I sure have, and I'm actually working on a second one right now, and oh man, people are going to hate me for that one.
Tell us about it, man.
Well, I've already completed my first hack of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and I just made a really casual hack. I think it probably, in my opinion, I think it's a little more difficult than the original, but it's completely all new levels. No levels are the same. Nice. And I'm pretty proud of it. There were a few minor things that I wish I could have figured out to improve even more, but overall it's a pretty solid hack.
Nice, yeah, and it's how did you go about editing the hack? Like what kind of software and stuff did you use for that?
Well, all you have to do is and I'm not sure if it'll work on Mac or not. I had somebody send me a message saying that they couldn't get it to download, but on Windows I know it works just fine. But I downloaded the level editor. If you just Google ZAMN level editor, it'll pop up, and then you'll just download it. It's by Piranha Plant, so kudos to Piranha Plant. I don't know if he'll ever watch this, but kudos to him for creating this, and because it is awesome. It's very easy to use. It's very straightforward level editor, but it is very, very time consuming. I mean, like I would say it took me an average of 3 hours per level. And if you imagine that there were 55 levels, 55 times 3, that's, 165 hours. That's quite a lot of time invested.
Definitely. And that reminds me when you were talking about, if he watches this, you and I a while back, you were playing the ultimate hack, and which is basically Zombies Ate My Neighbors on steroids with like 1,000 spiders thrown in.
Yeah, there are some levels in my hack that are actually harder than some in the ultimate hack. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, like my level 21 is brutal. My level 45 is just absolutely downright insane. I made level 45 as difficult as possible, nearly. I made every victim except for 1 or 2 high risk. So
nice. And I remember that I was doing co-commentary with you on that, and we were just joking around, like we were talking about like the creator of the hack and like how he was.
And then he actually commented on some of the videos later on. That was so funny.
And he was cool about it too. I guess he understood. He's like, the hack is meant to be difficult, but I think that's good. A lot of games today they will really go easy on the player, and it's like as long as a game has a good difficulty curve, which Zombies Ate My Neighbors always had that. Even the original. Yeah, even though some of the later levels were kind of rough, at the start they would really gear you up. They would let you basically see all the enemy types before you were getting completely swarmed there at the end, and where that one level that had like a couple of vampires in it and like all kinds of stuff. But man, that hack is something that I think anybody watching this should definitely check out, because if you've watched my channel in the past, you've seen Super Mario World ROM hacks, and I think that like a lot of these hacks are a great way for people who are fans of games from say previous console generations and previous eras to really enjoy that familiarity, but still at the same time see something fresh and new.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'm really enjoying hacks, and I wish there were more Zombies Ate My Neighbors hacks out there. I mean, there are a ton of Super Mario World hacks, and I greatly encourage anybody, if you like a game, try to get into it. I plan on doing one thing in the future. I'd like to do is do a tutorial on how to use the Zombies Ate My Neighbors level editor. So I think in the near future that's one thing I plan to do this year. But we'll just kind of have to see how it goes.
Yeah, so in addition to that, one other stuff, just tentatively, you don't have to spoil anything if you don't want to, but what other future projects are you looking to get into this year?
Well, I'm doing a lot of stuff, a lot of collaborative things, like I'm having co-commentators on my channel. Like already I've had Alyssa Foxa, I've had Joseph K, I've had the Age of 41, Vanessa Espinosa. I've had quite a few people. And I really don't care about how many subscribers they have. I mean, I know that usually it's encouraged to try to pick people that have a near amount that you do, to try to grow your channel more. But
right,
I'm really, to me, it's just the main reason I'm here is to just have fun. Like you said, have fun with friends, chill out, just relax and enjoy the game.
Definitely, man. That's what it's all about. And Joseph, he actually sent me a message. And he let me know that you guys had done that co-commentary, and so shout out to him as well for letting me know about that. I was just when I was signing in, and kind of basically I was updating my channel art. He was kind enough to have reached out, and he said that he had seen our co-commentary that we did, because we did.
He really enjoyed it too.
Oh yeah, I watched a few videos of it, man. It's a great project. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man, and it's really good too, because like you said, the co-op element, it really brings gaming back to what it's all about, having fun, chilling with friends. And I think that's definitely what your channel is about, why I find myself being such a big fan of your channel. And
thank you.
And we'll go ahead and talk about it here. We're not going to spoil anything ourselves, but we've already, tentatively planning a little co-op and stuff. So we're going to definitely keep people updated. And so anybody who's watching this, if you haven't already checked out Sky's channel, be sure to. I will have a link in the description. We'll also have a link at the end of the video. Check him out if you like what you see. Subscribe. Sky, man, I really appreciate having you on the cutting edge segment of the chopping block.
I enjoyed this.
Look forward to having you in future episodes, brother. We'll talk to you later, man.
Alrighty. Stay awesome, y'all.
Alright, so that was a cool little segment we just did. I caught up with Sky Hurricane89 earlier in the week, and we talked a little bit on Skype, and it was really good, getting back in touch with him, getting back in touch with people here in the YouTube community. We're cutting this into segments. People are gonna think like, oh, that was recorded in the past. Yeah, we took a little break since then. It's like, I smoked a doob, Fiz ran out and got some from this girl, and then we came back.
Now I'm feeling refreshed.
Trust us. That's totally true. But anyway, we kind of like to do that segment. It's pretty promotional, and the thing is, we've always liked to do that, kind of talk about games that are coming up and kind of talk about other stuff, because both of us, the fields that we've been trying to get in 2015, we finally managed to get our foot in the door, and we're both in marketing and we do different things, but man, that's it's a really rewarding experience, especially for a lot of people who are in that that age bracket. We don't want to reveal our exact age, because everybody's going to laugh how old we are, but it's like that age bracket, we'll say between 20 and 35, where people are really looking for their career field. I think there's like a kind of a negative stigma about younger people, and they say, oh, they don't want to work. Well, I think it's today it's a lot harder to find a career. Exactly. I think that's what most young people want. They're when they get focused on anything, a lot of people I know, our friends and people we've talked to, very intelligent people, very focused people, and they just look to find their niche, and I think that's it's very important.
It is very important, definitely. But like you said, I mean, it's like people want to classify us as like we're lazy, we don't want to work.
Right, the millennials, the
like,
Gen Y crowd.
Like, we're sorry, we just don't want to work. No, that's not true. It's just that we, believe it or not, our generation has so many like dreams and stuff like that. But the only thing of it is, well, I'm bringing it up, going a little bit into politics here.
Right.
You know, it's like the economy is just not there.
Bingo. Yeah, it's and basically what's happened is it's good to help people and give people benefits, but there's a very important factor when it's like giving people benefits at your own expense. I mean, a lot of previous generations and programs and initiatives and things that were set up for previous generations were really well. The problem is that they were really expensive. And they were gotten on credit. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to have a company have this as a price, or we're going to tax it and pay for it that way. It was taken out on credit.
Right,
and,
definitely.
And because of that, you know, you have the debt which is passed down on the line. So now, you know, in addition to, you know, the hindrances in terms of getting to a good college, you know, getting the courses you need and things like that, you know, young adults have to do these days, you have the issue of debt. And even if that debt, you know, from previous decades and whatnot is not manifested in like, oh, you have to pay this, it's manifested in higher prices. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly right.
And I don't know, man. It's like, you know, jumping back into a career field though, I think is a really good thing to do, because in a lot of ways, like, you know, I like the marketing field because it does enable you to be creative and enables you to have a little more control over your own life. You know?
Right. It gives you time to set your own schedule and stuff like that, and you know, it just gives you more, I guess, quote unquote freedom. You know what I mean? You know, it's just, I don't know, marketing. It takes a certain skill, but it's so fun at the same time.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, you know, every day is a new challenge because you're trying to find out what people want. Right. And you know, you're trying to give people a product that they want. You know, in a lot of ways, I think a lot of the problems that people have today, whether it's disagreements or prejudices that people hold, it's a lot of it is misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Yes. They've never had a good point explained to them. They may have had somebody try to shove an idea at them and shove it in their face, and you know, that really kind of puts people off.
Right.
To have a good presentation is everything.
Yeah, most definitely.
And yeah, it's like I kind of see that a lot in YouTube in a lot of ways, because like everybody is trying to present a good product, and it's one of those things where you know, we've always liked this channel. We've always liked doing this because it's just a great way to relax. It's a great way to meet cool people and have fun. And you know, just like we did with the cutting edge segment and everything, like we've done co-commentaries and stuff in the past. We've done co-op, and it's like, you know, we do have a lot of cool things planned for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
Let's limb in on it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Basically, you know, getting into a good career field and everything has enabled Fiz and I to really put more time into getting things ready for the channel, to present you guys with some good stuff, you know, that you want to see.
Right.
And we've always kind of talked about this in the past, but we've always been very focused on, you know, you get your personal stuff together and all this stuff, and it's like we've always been pretty fortunate. We've never had any huge hindrances, but you know, it's about getting yourself built up, getting your priorities in the right order. And now that we have that, you know, we've got a lot of cool stuff planned. You know, Sky, he was talking about, you know, plans for co-op in the future.
Right.
We're gonna do that. We have a couple of like special series in mind for you guys, and basically, there's gonna be, I know you were talking about plans for, you know, your channel. You had some gameplay videos.
Oh yeah.
That you were gonna be getting up, and on here we're basically gonna do two series. I'm gonna do the Axe Plays Classics, and I'm gonna be taking on games. I'll go ahead and announce the first game that's gonna be on that series. It's one that people who have watched either AxeManGaming or the Axe0316 channel in the past have seen me play Resident Evil 4, man. Yep.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it never does get old.
It never does,
great,
man. And I was thinking, I was like, you know, Axe Plays Classics, and I was like, well, you know, that's subjective, what a classic is. But to me, you know, you look at classic and you think something that's a masterpiece, or it's something that other games are compared to, games that are constantly brought up in discussions. And Resident Evil 4's got that, man. So I'm going to be doing that. And also, we're going to be doing the other series, which is Axe Plays Indies. And, you know, showing off indie games is, I think, a really cool way, because, you know, we kind of have that that channel where it's very, I'll use the term agorist. And maybe we get some people to Google that, which would be awesome. and
Google it right now.
Yeah, for real. And it's kind of like that small, you know, way to grow a small channel or a small operation that can really grow. And indie games kind of have that going on too. There's so many cool indie games out there that like people really never give a shot to because they don't have like the backing of say maybe like a huge studio or anything.
Right.
But the indie game that we're going to be tackling first, and you know, in addition to hearing my commentary, Fiz's commentary, we're also going to ask some other YouTubers and friends of ours to get in on it. But it's going to be Undertale.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, an indie game which really took off, and like this is going to be a semi-blind playthrough. Like I need to make this clear because I don't want anybody being like, you knew that was coming. But it's like, you know, Axe's Classics is like that's going to be like a guided walkthrough.
Right.
Axe Plays Indies is going to consist of blind playthroughs, but this one is only semi-blind because I did have to look. Man, I was so curious about the game. I watched a bit.
Did it.
Yeah, I watched a bit, and it's like I had a few different people mention this game. I saw everybody talking about it in like the comments of like even videos of other games, like where channelers are asking, you know, what should I play next? And it's like Undertale. And I was like, you know, looked into it a little bit, and then after we started getting things going for the channel again, I was like, yeah. Gonna have to give it a shot, man.
Have to, man. Yeah, have to. I mean, it looks like a great game, and you know, it'd be fun for the viewers to watch. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be great. It's got some interesting gameplay mechanics, and you know, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the video. But you know, we think there's a lot of people out there who might like some indie games, and we're gonna try to spread that wealth around a little bit. But you know, we're gonna talk more about that. But kind of shifting gears here in a way. But one thing I was really thinking about, you know, at the end of 2015 is like, you know, this whole idea of said, you know, in economics it's called diminishing marginal utility.
Okay.
And basically the layman's term for it is anything is good in moderation, but too much of anything can be bad. Basically, the example they always give you when you first hear about this, like you talk about it in like social studies, if you have like certain economics classes in you know school growing up. Basically, the whole idea of you get a big pizza, and it's like first slice is amazing, second slice, yeah, really good, third slice getting kind of full now, fourth slice throwing up, and it you know everything's good in moderation. And I started thinking about you know all the things you could apply that to, and weirdly enough, I was like, you can also apply that to preparation because, like we were talking about, you know, building up and getting ready to get things going. There comes a point when you know you kind of really have to pull the trigger. Yeah, and I think there are a lot of like really super smart, talented people out there who have gifts, and maybe they're apprehensive for certain reasons. Maybe they've just never thought about it. But this ties into another thing I was reading about. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is basically this idea of the better you are at something, the less likely you are to think of yourself as good because you know how much you don't know.
Right.
And I think for a lot of people, they kind of hold back for that reason. But it's like preparation is good. You know, we've done our prepping for you know our jobs and personal stuff, and now for the channel, and now we're ready to pull the trigger on it because you know something as little as like you know make a YouTube channel, do your own gameplay stuff, make a SoundCloud if you do music, make a deviant art, you know. You never know the cool people you can meet and you can network with because just in the process of like making the intros and the thumbnails and stuff, like I found so many cool channels and subscribed and you know got information that way about everything from you know how to edit your video to audio tips for just the sound portion and people who make custom thumbnails and you know you'll even see people in the comments saying, hey, I'm good at art, you know, you can if you pay me over PayPal or whatever, I'll do it or this and that. So it's like you know, just a lot of cool options for networking when you get out there. There's like a really kind of almost negative stigma of you know people have to be so critical of certain series, and you know it's good to have your opinion, but at the same time when you decentralize it and it's not just like you have say a few big content creators and everybody else is kind of standing in the background saying, well, you know, which do we choose? If we all you know kind of show off our talents a little bit in a way that we feel comfortable with, then it's like you know everybody is kind of on an even playing field because you know, value is all subjective, and it's like people like what they like, and that's why we're still really happy that we have people who have stuck with us. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, and that's another thing I want to elaborate on that more. It's just that's the reason why we like marketing so much. Is because even though yes, we're out there, you know, we're promoting, you know, doing the product and stuff, but you meet so many cool people out there.
Absolutely.
And that you can build your skills from, and it's just so cool that you gain so many relationships with people. And you can apply it to everything pretty much that you're interested in. It's just you gotta go for it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you guys, when we talk about improvements to the channel, you've already seen that with the intros and stuff like that. It's finally here. We finally did it. It's awesome. It's so, man, I'm stoked, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of realized, we got together and we brainstormed, and we're like, now it's not just we need to do this. And like, I think when we started, we had a lot of ideas, and we always had the intention on following through on them, but like we said, priorities, getting other things lined out first.
Exactly.
And now that we have that, we have plans for upcoming series. We've got a lot of cool specials for you guys.
We're not going to let everything out of the box right now.
Yeah, we got a few surprises. We got a few surprises coming for you, but we have we got together a plan, and we got our format and everything. We also have like a yearly plan.
Right.
And there's like right now couple new things, maybe a couple special videos, a couple celebrations or things like that, compilations we want to do, and we just have a lot of plans, a lot of games, a lot of things we want to cover throughout the year, and it's like a yearly plan. So it's like 2016 is here. It's like, let's pull the trigger, let's have fun, man. It's great to be back.
It is, and it's like, okay, 2015 was our kind of prep year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, guys, this is what you've been waiting for.
Right.
And it's like, man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to share it with you guys. So, yeah, we're very, very stoked, and we can't wait to put out all this awesome content, man. It's going to be awesome.
I got to mention this. We talked about, SSOHPKC when we were talking about gaming news. And one of the things that he said is, after he had been, on YouTube for like 3 or 4 years, he was a lot more comfortable. Because, like, he looked back and he's like, in his words, he's like, oh, people who like me must really like me when they subscribe to those old videos of me, sounding constipated with the mouse cursor on the screen playing Mario. And it's like, one of the things we're doing, like the old channel, the Axe0316, we're in the process of kind of turning that into an archive. If I can speak, archive. It's going to be an anchovy sandwich. It's going to be an anchovy sandwich that is going to feature our, the older videos and things we did. And we did a lot of cool stuff on that channel. I was watching it, and I was like, one of the old Super Mario RPG videos I did. It's like I didn't understand aspect ratio, so it's like I'm going through my inventory. And it's like the top left-hand corner is completely cut off. And I was like, well, that's Mario. I was like, Mario has to be in the party. So you don't even really need to see him. It's fine. But it's like, it got some likes. It got some kind words. So I was like, if people were nice enough to stick around for that, we want to show, how much we appreciate you guys. So it's going to be a great year. And, 2015 was not only a great year for gaming, it was a great year for MMA. And, as you guys know, even though we are primarily a gaming-based operation here,
but
yeah, one of our other interests is the world of MMA, and so we do like to talk about that. This is a segment that we call Combat Chat. We had done sound effects. we had done this as like a standalone thing in the past, and we thought it would be cool to throw it into the Chopping Block series. Right. And man, 2015 was a great year for MMA, and dude. I think the one thing that like 2015 reinforced, if anything, is like, the guard constantly changes, the torch is constantly passed, nobody is unbeatable, and if you train hard, if you believe in yourself, man, you can be a champion, because we got a lot of new champions.
Perfect example. Holly Holmes.
Yeah. Amazing. And that's another thing. I mean, like, and we mean, no knock on Ronda, but, Ronda was truly a rock star.
Awesome.
She had become a cultural icon, and still is. And she got that way because she really made a statement in that division. And somebody made a really good comparison with that. They said watching that fight was kind of like watching Matt Hughes versus GSP2.
Great fight.
And you had a lot of people saying, oh well, Ronda, she went through all her opponents so fast. And it's like, it wasn't that the women's division didn't have good fighters.
Right.
Just that Ronda had a really good style. And I think when she fought Holly just took her out of her element. And you have Holly Holm, who it's like, she didn't have the notoriety at that time. She didn't make TV appearances. She wasn't this well known and talked about kind of celebrity figure that Ronda was, but she trained hard and she believed in herself. And it's like, I'd actually like to see the rematch, because I think if they had a rematch, that fight could go either way.
Well, I think believe a couple weeks ago. Forgive me, but I believe Dana said that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be great because Ronda. I think even though she couldn't take. I think she took Holly down once, and Holly escaped the armbar attempt. They had a little scramble, and then for the rest of the time, she was kind of trying to strike with her, And I think if Ronda really uses her judo more and grapples, she may win a decision. If she can't take her down, she may say, okay, well, let me bulk up a bit, and I'll dirty box her against the cage, say like a Randy Couture style thing. And it's like you may not have that 3-minute quick finish highlight reel ending to your fight, but you could grind out a win. So hats off to both fighters. Holly Holm, the new champ, man, was crazy. Turned the MMA world upside down.
I'd say this, kickboxing, man, goes a long way.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. That's what made the difference between that fight.
Oh yeah, just expert, crisp striking, man. Somebody who had been doing it on a high level for just years and years. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people don't think about when they see these fighters in the cage. It's like, a lot of the times you'll have MMA gems and you'll have somebody who says, maybe I wrestled in high school, or maybe I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu as a hobbyist, and they go in and like they learn the bare basics of striking. That is not Holly. Like Holly was a boxing champion.
Right.
Like did nothing but throw hands for all those years, and it paid off. And Ronda, while Ronda was one of the most popular fighters in UFC, another guy who has like garnered a huge amount of hype proves that it was way more than hype, man. Conor McGregor.
What a promotion, right?
Dude.
I mean, he promoted the heck out of that fight, but not only did he promote it, he backed it up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it was like 13 seconds or something knockout, and Aldo was, I think he was undefeated for like a decade. And he was, that undefeated, at least in the UFC, he was an undefeated champion, and one punch from Conor. It's like Conor is just a different kind of striker, man. Like just the placement of that hand, like he judged Aldo's movement perfectly because Aldo clipped him. Like Aldo clipped him. But, Conor just had, like, the perfect punch, perfect positioning. And he had a really good quote after the fight. He was like, he was basically talking about technique and accuracy can beat speed and strength.
Exactly right.
And it's, it's one of those things where, you just do the right things. You don't necessarily have to do anything super flashy. But if you just do, the basics and do them well, you can expand on that. And, man, I think, like, I would like to see Aldo get an immediate rematch. Like,
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, like Dana has been kind of on the fence about it. It's like Frankie Edgar just beat Chad Mendez, which is huge, man. Frankie is still kicking hard at like 145, so it's like tough. But it's like Aldo was, the champion for all those years.
Right.
He's got to have that rematch.
And another thing too, I mean, I noticed this. I mean, these guys, I mean, they've been promoting this fight for way over a year, right?
Right.
Okay, so and pretty much talking trash.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine the hate that these guys had for one another.
Yeah.
For Conor McGregor just to stand there and wait for the perfect punch.
Yeah.
That had to take a lot because you have all these emotions running. So I think patience, goes in with what you talked about.
Yeah, definitely. Waiting for the right time, like we were talking about, everything in order, man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely. And another fight which was really good and, showcased that nobody is unbeatable is Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman. Because, man, like, you got to think, Chris Weidman was undefeated. And he was the guy who beat Anderson Silva twice.
Right. Twice.
And people can talk about, like, the legitimacy of both fights. But it's like, hey, he's got 2 Ws on the record books against arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. So, and not only that, he beat Belfort. He beat Lyoto Machida. Right. This is a guy who was definitely no joke. And, Luke Rockhold's coming in. And, I'm a big fan of Rockhold. I know you are as well.
Right.
And, he came to the UFC, and this is a guy he's fought a lot of good competition, and he's fighting Weidman, and I think honestly those were like 2 of the most evenly matched guys, and I was like, man, the first guy to capitalize on somebody else is going to win, and like Rockhold threw a wheel kick, and some people were saying, oh, it was a bad move. It's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? He's mixing up his striking. It could have landed, but Rockhold was game, and Rockhold put Weidman on his back, and it's like Weidman is a great wrestler, and that's what people were saying. Like, if Rockhold wanted to win the fight, put him on his back, because Weidman was getting the shots in on the feet too.
Right.
And Weidman as a really good wrestler, I think Rockhold knew, the best time to take him down would be to watch for the kicks and try to take him down, and then he got him down, and it was rough, man. I thought the fight, I think it went to the 4th. I thought it could have been stopped at the end of the 3rd because, Weidman was just taking a lot of punishment.
I know he was just in there and he looked like a punchbag to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people probably disagree, but I mean, he was getting beat up, dude.
Yeah.
He was. And, well, hey, and a lot of things, Rockhold, he got a lot of, I guess, criticism because they said before he came in with Weidman, he hadn't really fought that big names or anything. He didn't really get a lot of recognition.
Right.
But you gotta think if you pull the stats up and you size Weidman and Rockhold, they're pretty much the same fighter.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
You couldn't pick two better people to face one another.
Yeah, it was a great match, man. And you know, a lot of fights that people are looking forward to this year. You know, speaking of rematches, man. The rematch between Fabricio Verdum and Cain Velasquez, man, because like it was rough seeing Cain lose the way he did, because a lot of people were saying, you know, was it the elevation? Because it's like, when have we ever known Cain to gas? But it's like, you know, hats off to Verdum, man. Like that guy to come back from being somebody who at one time in like a 5-year span, he was considered like maybe like top 10, maybe top 15. You know, he was never a joke, but he was never a guy you think that would have been a legit title contender. Then he comes and he beats Fedor, who is back, by the way, and looking good. That's another positive thing, guys. Good. Fedor came back, and you know, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, here comes Fedor ducking top competition." I was like, the guy's been like out of competition for like what, 3-4 years now,
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so it's like obviously when he comes back, you know, he wants to kind of have a tune-up fight, and he did great. He looks in great shape, so definitely looking forward to seeing more fights from Fedor in 2016. But you know, Verdum had beaten Fedor, he beat Nogueira. And then Mark Hunt, man, and with that wheel kick on Mark Hunt, man, and you would think like, okay, he's gonna take Mark Hunt down in a minute, but do like a freaking spin kick out of nowhere. Yeah, and then he beats Cain, man, and it's just a story of like, man, you know, a lot of people out there, like we were saying, they could be keeping secrets. They could be like, you know, I'm super talented, even if a lot of people don't know it yet, and I will show them. And I think like Verdum showed up in a big way.
He did. And his future is bright.
Yeah.
Definitely bright. But yeah, man, a lot of great fights coming, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a great year for MMA. We're definitely going to be doing more combat chat segments. You know, if you have favorite fighters or anything, let us know. Let us know what fights you guys are looking forward to. We always like to have, you know, some feedback and some interaction from people on YouTube, because, you know, we are, to a lot of channels, we are subscribers. We are frequent viewers. And we like those channels because, you know, they encourage interaction. The people who make those videos are like, hey, guys, you know, you can comment and ask questions. And that's really cool. So we like that interaction, and we always like to give back. So we're going to be doing something special in this video.
Yeah.
And you might have known that we were talking about indie games earlier. You might remember that. And, you know, I think a lot of people out there might enjoy some indie games too. So here's what we're going to do.
Okay, let's do it.
We're going to do something cool. We're going to do a giveaway on this episode of the Chopping Block. We're going to be giving away a copy of Castle Crashers on Steam.
Love it. Great game.
It is amazing.
Addicting as crap.
Yeah,
man.
It's great, and it's great to play with others.
Right.
So you know,
it's a party game.
We have that game too, don't we?
Yeah,
we have that. Yeah, that game is great to play with others. So you know, if you'd like to get a chance to win a copy of Castle Crashers, just leave a comment on the video.
Yeah, just leave a comment. That's all you gotta do.
Just say, hey, what's up? Talk about, you know, anything from the video. You know, please don't say anything nasty. We don't appreciate that. But like, you know, anything else, like you comment. If you comment, you know, we will say, okay, they are officially entered in. In fact, like if you don't want the game, you make that known. You don't have to say, oh, I'd like to be entered in the contest, because, you know, if you just say, hey, you know, nice video, we'll assume, okay, you know, they want in.
They're interested.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you do have the game, comment, because it's like you can get it and you can give it away on Steam yourself. You know what I mean?
Your friend play with you, like we do all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So leave us a comment, guys, if you know, you want to win a copy of Castle Crashers on Steam. We're gonna choose winner at random. We'll go to there's like a random generator, so we'll just put all the names in there.
Yeah, we can do
or have like a numbered list and just like roll it on air and, you know, announce the winner. So definitely comment, guys. You know, we'd love for you to get in on this. You know, giveaways and things like that are always cool. I love when people do them. Like I've seen channels do them, and it's, you know, it's a nice touch. And we really appreciate you guys for sticking around, man. Like we can't wait for 2016. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Chopping Block. This is Axe.
This is Fiz.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Catch you next time.